Well, we are on an amazing day here for me. It is episode 18 of Sit in It with myself, Tracy A. Martin. I am a hypnotherapist, practitioner, life guide intuitive, and if you are new to this, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're very welcome to become a member on the group at Sit in It with Tracy A. Martin on Facebook, or go to Opening Doors Productions on YouTube. And all of the plethora of episodes is there, plus other stuff that's been a part of the channel. So absolutely, wherever you feel guided, go in. There's words in there for you. Sit in it or don't. It's completely up to you. So today is a very awesome day, and many of you have sent in, texting me, contacting me in other ways, saying, Tracy, I want to know what you all do. Like, I've been watching your podcasts, but I've never really checked out everything that you do. And so I'm going to give you a breakdown of what I have been doing, what I am into right now, and what is coming futuristically. So as a hypnotherapist practitioner, I use hypnosis techniques in the form of therapies. And there's a vast amount of different types of therapies out there. And no, it's not stage hypnosis. It is actually hypnotherapy. So this is getting into the subconscious mind to see where all of those programs are being recorded. Because like I've said, from the time you were in the womb to about 6 years old, you are 100% in a full hypnotic state the whole time. And the subconscious mind is just a sponge, picking in everything that has been repetition. That being said, everything that you keep repeatedly having said to you feeds as a recording into your subconscious mind. 98% of what is in your programming is why you work the way you do. So if you want to hold on just one sec here, we do have one of my clients coming on today for part of the podcast today. So this is going to be a very lovely presence today. So we have a lady who will be coming on. Her name is Connie. And part of what I do is the reason that I have Connie coming on today, who was gracing us with her presence. Hello, Connie. We are recording. We are in the podcast, Sit in It right now. Can you hear us? Is your volume on?
Mine?
There we go. Connie's here. Hi, Connie. Nice to
Hi.
meet you again. It's been a bit. How are you doing?
Really good, thank you.
So we're in the beginning of taping episode 18 for Sit in It, and many people had been asking, what is it that I do, and the various things. And so I'm going to be giving a bit of a lay down for everybody of what hypnosis is, everything that we do here, what is currently being offered right now, and what's coming futuristically. And so if you give me just a bit, Connie, I'm just going to continue for our audience, and then we're going to be interviewing Connie. Connie is a client of mine here at Opening Doors Productions, and we'll learn more about her story briefly. So what we are really talking about truly is to understand that we have many people that don't realize that you're continually living from your programming, which is stored in the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind, because that is where we get caught up in all these traps and we don't know why. So many people will say, oh my God, I'm experiencing so much fear, I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing so much of this. And it's because your subconscious mind recorded a one-time event, and how you responded or reacted to it, it started as a baseline. And then every time something similar like that happens, the subconscious mind says, oh, this is how you handled it last time. Let's try this again. And that's why many of you who are termed in the Western medical world as having anxiety or depression or those lies that they actually tell you, and then you buy into it and decide to just pigeonhole yourself into something instead of being able to sit in and break through each moment that you're feeling. For instance, nervousness, overwhelm, fear, or is it excitement, but you didn't know how to feel that energy because you've been taught to shut down or to fight, flight, or freeze. And so that is why hypnotherapy works on such a massive scale, because the conscious mind is lying to you continually, because it only knows to be running a program that it doesn't even know it's running. That's why I'll say to many people, you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know because you haven't gone in to get into that discovery. And that's why many people will go to psychiatrists, psychologists, or the like, and they can be going once a week or 10 years and still be in the same place because you didn't go to where the root began. And so that is what the subconscious mind all starts to play in. Connie, could you just mute your audio for a bit while we're still talking here? Thanks. Beautiful.
Oh, how do I do that? I can't mute it on my computer. I don't know where.
Here, let me 1 minute, everybody. I'm going to find where Connie is, and I'm going to mute her. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, why hypnotherapy? Many people become very scared, and it's a natural process. Every one of my clients who's ever come in my chair or been online throughout the world that I play in, everyone is feeling this nervousness, this fear, this excitement, and they're not really sure how to feel it because they think all these skeletons are going to be revealed out of the closet, and it's going to be this horrific event, and you're going to be traumatized for life, or that you're really this evil person, and that's why, life has been handed the way it was to you. And so I'm going to laugh with you and have you laugh with me right now, because that is not going to happen for the majority of the world. There are people who have been severely brainwashed and MK Ultra'd and severely traumatized in, and do know that there's something that has been hidden that is coming out. And that's where the safety of hypnotherapy works, because you're able to be detached from it, reliving into the DNA again as an experience. And so for the most part of you, the majority, you're not going to have those, oh my God. And instead, it's usually reconnecting to you on such a deeper level that you start to realize, oh my God, I've been so horrible to myself. No one else has. I have been. I've been allowing these programs because it's been an idea of what was normal to me. And so within hypnotherapy, of what I do here in my practice, some people will be guided, and it depends on what issue you have. So it could be you want to quit smoking, you want to lose weight, you want more confidence, you are wanting to live a more fulfilling life, you want to love yourself more, you want to learn how to leave, you want to work through the loss process, your anger issues that you've decided is yours. Everything is within the hypnosis spectrum. And that's why I love what I do, because I'm helping you get to the best parts of you. And that is why within 2 sessions of hypnosis, it can completely not only change and alter what you had been working on for 10 years with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or any of those, because we're getting into the goods of where it comes from. And so from there, then a bunch of your cleaning house happens. And so with that, so I have some people that come and they book sessions and they're one-on-one. And then I have some clients that are ready to go even deeper because they're done in the sabotage game. They're done in the worthlessness game, and they're ready to go full tilt further in instead of just one-on-one sessions. They want to go deeper. And that is why, for doing what I've been doing for well over a decade, it was understanding that we have to take it in a whole approach. So I'll use the analogy that you have a beautiful home and you decide you're just going to vacuum and clean one area and make it pristine. So you're going in, you're cleaning it up, you're purging, you're doing whatever, but you don't think you have to do the rest of your house. And then you walk away thinking, I'm great. And you don't think that any of that dirt is going to make its way back into that area you've just been doing so much on. And so some of you, and it is your own process, you will always be right, because it is exactly at the right time. And so I will never push you into what you need to do, because I will not ever be able to fix you. I will not ever be able to help you, but I am here to offer love and be able to be your greatest cheerleader, guiding you in. And so from there, that's why I started creating stuff from more to do at home, so that you can work within yourself in your time. And it depends on what slow of a process you're willing to do and be able to take your baby steps in. But moving forward is continually what we want you to be doing. And so that's why I had created a series called Living Whole on Purpose, which are a series of hypnosis audios that you can purchase from online to listen to at any time. And the reason I created them is because there's a series of 5 for you to sit in. For the first one, staying in for 2 weeks, to have breakthroughs through that, and then moving to the next audio for the next 2 weeks. So we begin with forgiveness for 2 weeks, then we move to the emotional baggage release for 2 weeks, then it's called Empowering You for 2 weeks that you would sit in for that audio. After that, it becomes the Kingdom, and then the bonus is called the Shopping Mall. And each of those is put in a series to be able for you to understand that we're creating new repetition, building those new building blocks and the new neural pathways in your brain so that it becomes the new norm for you. And so that is one of the things that I started to do as well. And then right now I have 2 courses available right now. And one of them is called the 5-part series of Living Whole on Purpose. And that is a 10-week process, which is a very slower, in-depth place where you start, where you're having one video that you're listening to and a hypnosis audio that you're listening to every night or day, depending on where it works in your schedule, for 2 weeks. That one video you're going to go in and listen to over and over again if you need to, and there's life work that needs to be done. But you're going to sit in it for 2 weeks so that you can really go in and write down, feel, purge, become everything that is teaching you in that first video. You will have a accountability coach, which are probably one of the greatest parts about this whole process, because the reason most people don't go in is because they are alone. And that's the reason many people will buy books and then put them on the shelf, or they go to a weekend course, and because it isn't within your everyday living realm, you take what you needed, you left it behind, and it was just a philosophy, and you did nothing to do anything to change because you weren't creating the repetition of having to be in it tangibly. And so there's a Q&A with myself, the practitioner, that's once within the 2-week period, so that I can listen to where you're at, what you're breaking through, help you with more breakthroughs, as well as your accountability coach. She gets a hold of you once within that 2-week place, sits in a conversation with you one-on-one to help support, build you up, see where you may be having any kind of issues, and is just your greatest cheerleader. And so that takes a course of over 10 weeks. And then our Mac Daddy right now is the 8-week course of breakthroughs, and it is called From the Broken Mind to Living Whole on Purpose. And it's literally exactly what the title tells you, because you've been living in many, many broken mind traps. And as you're hearing that in this episodes that we've been taping for a while, you're starting to understand more and more why we call it the broken mind. And it's because of what society has been super feeding you through brainwashing techniques in order to keep you enslaved and impoverished and in lack and sabotaging continually. And it is all around worth, because they basically try to put you in an amnesic state and take away the fact that you are kings and queens and are magnificent beings. And so the easiest way to manipulate someone is to make you believe that you are worthless and you are scum. And that has been our whole propaganda agenda that has been going on for millennia upon millennia. That has created classes and separation, and whether it had to do with race, creed, everything they have tried to completely fractal so that it can keep you away from being a whole and working as a team. And so the reason that we have one of our most beautiful clients on the call today, and her name is Connie, and we call her Caring, Confident Connie. And that was something that she totally deserves and broke through to become, was because she started on her course through coming to me for individual hypnotherapy, and then advanced into taking our 8-week course of transformations. And so if you know how to put your audio on now, it should be on the bottom of your screen. There should be a mute or not mute on the bottom left, and you can see stop video. If you touch your screen a bit, like with your mouse, it'll suddenly come up. There's a whole panel on the bottom that'll come up when you touch with your mouse. You should be able to see a bunch of stuff that's on there. Can you see that there? A thumbs up or a thumbs down? Well, wouldn't that just be so funny? Yeah, and I can't unmute you, but I can mute you, unfortunately. That's too bad that we can't do that. So while Connie's figuring out how to get her audio on, that is the whole basis of what's been going on. And because that way I'm able to help many people at the same time. And in the 8-week course, it is an 8-week timed course. It is very in-depth. It is not comfortable, and it was designed on purpose not to be comfortable, because you have been comfortably programmed in living in your hell. So I want you to break through that. And with that, each week you are put into 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 videos that you're watching within the week, and you have life work that is asked of you to sit in and become, as well as hypnosis audios that are listened to every day. Every week you have an accountability coach who will be on a call with you one-on-one, supporting, building you up, helping you with any of your questions. And then we have a Q&A where you come to once a week as well with myself, the practitioner, and your breakthrough coach, your accountability coach, and anyone else who's in at the same time. So some people may be on week 2, week 8, week 1, and so you're able to hear where they're at, what they're learning from, and their perspectives, which is fantastic nuggets for you, because many of us are only able to sit in it from our perspective. And so when you hear other people's perspectives, that gives you that extra love of going in from a different angle of looking and sitting it and observing from that point as well. So have you had any luck yet finding the audio, Connie? I'm not hearing you, so you're not on there. Yeah, you should, when you look, if you use your mouse, your cursor, and just play on your screen a little bit, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that comes up on the bottom of your screen. And on the bottom left, you'll see a place that says mute. It's where I want you to touch with your cursor of your mouse on your computer, on your laptop. Well, until then, Connie gets to just be a part of the episode listening today, being here, showing her pretty face. What's so amazing in the whole process is everything is on purpose. And the biggest reason why most people will even start to go in on any level and realize that they are in their own way is because the egoic mind or the egoic personality trait has been infiltrated so much so with sabotage, with being a victim. And that's what this whole society sees outside of itself, is continually them feeding you programming through subliminal, through projection with audio and visual, that are completely continually making you believe there's something wrong with you and that you want to have some kind of mental problem so that you have someone to talk to. And this is the victim mentality. And everyone within their personality traits have been completely ingrained in being a victim. And they've really kept from you the want and desire to be the victor. And so that is why so many people now are realizing they're done with this matrix of 3D. And they're realizing there's got to be more to this. There's more to me. There's got to be more than this. Isn't there this out there? And that's some of the first thoughts that you start to have. Is that's a massive breakthrough. The moment you actually observe yourself and realize this is not what I want anymore. That is a massive breakthrough. And that is what we do here, is celebrate every little detail of you deciding completely something different in that moment. That is a breakthrough, because it's going to purge old programming and start forging a brand new neural pathway. And once that lights up, it can't be shut off. No different than what I've spoken to before about meditation, how you can once in your lifetime decide to go into meditation, which is just in a place of being in a space of being aware and allowing things to flow in and out. You can be gardening and you're in that place. You can be walking in the forest, just walking, and you're just in that place of observation more than stuck in the idea of who you are. And the amount of neurons that become lit up, that create brand new neural pathways in your brain, and they've mapped it. Neuroscientists have done brain mapping, and they have mapped the brain and watched how lights completely turn on and become this beautiful lighted beingness. And that's why they talk about meditation or prayer, if that's the word you want to term it. It's the same kind of thing where you go in and you can do a working meditation where you're guiding yourself places, where you're praying for people and loving them all up. Or you're going to a silent meditation where you're just allowing things to move in and out as they flow through. And, oh, did I get you? I think I...
Yep.
Yay, Connie's here. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Connie to, if you can tell all of our audience that's listening or watching and listening today, what was it that led you here to opening doors?
Well, I have chronic pain and a lot of medical issues. And the more medications they were giving me, I seemed to be getting sicker and worse. And throughout my whole time with it, I've had a bad go with the doctors. So I needed to do something differently. I had lost my self-esteem. I had lost my confidence with people, and being on disability for a few years. It's just made me a whole different person, and going through a divorce and everything, it was just so much that I knew that I needed to make a change, because I was in this swirl of anxiety and fear and sad for myself. I was in a point of wanting to be sorry for myself and not even realizing it, because I'd had such a bad go in this little while. But when my life came to a point where it almost lost it because of the medications and whatnot, that's when I knew I had to seek help somewhere else. And I'm so glad I had the program, because it made me realize that I had been taught so many things, because I had a learning disability. And, kids make you feel stupid, the teachers make you feel stupid. So you take that on to your life. And that's in every act. I was more of a servant to everybody rather than taking my power and the initiative to be myself and be heard, because I would even say things that I thought of, but if I said someone else saw it, said it, whatever, they would take the comment as, oh, that's a good idea, rather than my own. But it was my own, but I would not take that power back. Whereas now I'm taking credit for what I do, and I have my power back. And the anxiety, I've been off my antidepressants, I'm off most of my pain medications, I'm off so much. Whereas it's been 20 years of this drug-induced coma, basically, of just existing, because it didn't help my pain, but it sure fogged my head. And it was time for me to grab myself and say, look, you're at an age now, it's time to grow up. It's time to realize that was the past. You've been taught all these wrong things. Love yourself. And that was the hardest thing for me to do, is to realize I was lovable. And the joy that I have now, it's like I look forward to every experience, whether it's good or bad, because I know it's on purpose and there's a reason for it. And before I was triggered by it, well, oh, well, that was just, it's all at me. Whereas now I'm thinking from where it all came from and let it go, because what they said does not affect me, because that is their issue. And it's just like me. I'd be upset and all these things with my relationships, and I just kept reliving it in this swirl of a tornado that continued, that just kept building memento. And it was like the calm, like the wind slowed down. I could sit by the river in the sun, and I felt such a peace within and a strength within, that I'm my own queen and I have my own queendom, and that I have the power to be who I am and who I was meant to be, rather than what people perceive me to be.
Thank you so much, Connie. That's in a nutshell from A to B. We all live in the paradox. If any of you are new on this episode, haven't listened before, you'll learn more about it in all the other episodes, that we play in this paradox, or this duality, and we believe we're either one or the other, and we're continually breaking through in choices of where we're going to go. And that was Connie. Connie was at the lowest of the low, and some people end up having to be at the lowest of the low to realize there's only up from here. And so we've watched people that are just into personal development on the highest degree, that no matter what is going to go even deeper and deeper in these programs, or people who have really, really been in a desperate place of, oh my God, I have to give up my control that I believed I always had, and am finally asking for that help. And that's been a big part of the whole process of them making you believe it is stupid to ask for help, because it begins in your schooling systems continually. And again, I will tell you every time, there is no such thing as a stupid question. If someone is questioning, they have the right to ask, so that a real teacher or a real leader or mentor or guide will find different ways of being able to play it out for you to be able to grasp onto something. And what was so great was one of the greatest breakthroughs I watched Caring Connie, go through becoming Caring Confident Connie, was because she'd been trained for so long to believe that she had a learning disability, that it would shut her down from any kind of wanting to learn. And when she realized in these courses that is completely up to you, and how you do it and the way that you do it to get to the best outcome. That's what was so great, was when you'd realized you listened to the video several times, sometimes in the day, that one video, so that you could hear it over and over and over again, to start having comprehension and knowing that everybody learns their perspective way that feels right for them. And what was so great was what I had watched from her first believing, and the first weeks are always the most chaotic, the first 2 weeks, because it's something new and there's a lot coming up that you have to look at and sit in, and you can feel a victim in it and angry, and or go, oh my god, this simplifies it from when, and I didn't know where it was coming from, to by the time she was done the 8 weeks, she wasn't listening to the videos over and over and over again. It became such in a flow. She was grabbing what she needed on purpose, sitting in it, and moving forward. So, what the greatest thing that I continually say to people, though, we make sure that you're always in a life group after, because just because you did the goods and you did the time in, if you don't continually sit in and become the new life that you are co-creating continually, then it's easy to go back to default because you had years and years and years of repetition of what it was. And so many people will go to this egoic place after they've graduated and think that they are like, they've got it all and they know it all. Instead of, no, I'm such a sponge, I have such an open mind, I want to know more. And that's what sits you in it further and keeps you in that process of going in deeper and deeper and deeper, and allowing all those lotus petals to just bloom, instead of believing you had to peel onion layers first and that they were stinky and smelly, and they really weren't. It was just so hidden, and that, that different person of every age and stage that was hiding, and those old memories that you were trying to suppress, that were a part of just needing love and acceptance. It's amazing what happens on such a grand scale, and that's why you will hear me continually tell you, it is, the very root is all around and about love. What love is and what love is not, and what you've been playing because it's been a repeated idea. And so, Connie, what were some of the ideas of what love was not, that you didn't realize was part of your whole love language that was playing out? And what was it worth? Was it sabotage? Was it, we know that that abandonment feeling, that needing approval or validation from others? What was it that was really coming up and coming into the play in that first few weeks for you?
I realized that I was much more worth than what I was giving myself. I was feeling like a second citizen the way I was raised, that you're the woman, you do everything for your family, you're quiet like children and whatnot. And I felt that was my place. So I just kind of geared into that, and I thought that was my life. And then when that life was over, I thought, oh my goodness, what do I do now? When my children grew up and everything. So I realized that I was not loving myself. I was sabotaging myself. And when I did start loving myself, I could just see, like the lotus petal, slowly things coming out, and things that I thought I wanted in love are totally the opposite. Like there's mutual understanding, there's caring, there's loving, but having that mutual respect and being careful not to react in a moment. Don't let that trigger hit you to think, sit about, now, why is that doing that to me? And that's where it started to show me that I was loving myself, because I was taking the place that everything that I'd been taught was love was more materialistic rather than actually a feeling inside. And when I started feeling that love inside completely, and I felt completed, I felt like half of me was missing and I had no clue. So of course, I just took what I had, was in a long marriage that we lived separately for years. There was nothing there, but I put up with it. I was the cleaning lady, I was the cook, I did everything else. We didn't sleep in the same room. It was completely separate, but I thought that's what I was worth because I was sick, I was damaged. And that was just sabotaging myself, making myself feel worse, whereas nobody else feels worse for you. In fact, I found near the end there, as I got sicker, that the people went away from me, and I thought, okay, this isn't love, me asking for help because I'm desperate. I got to love me first and find those things of love and redefine them with my family. We're all coming back together now, and it's beautiful because it was 7 years apart, almost 8 years apart, and I have all three kids back. And it's the most beautiful relationship because I thought it was damaged beyond, because they were tired of me being sick. I think they were afraid. They didn't know when I was going to die because I had a potassium problem, and they just kind of disconnected because they were afraid. And I was sabotaging myself because I was in a victim mode. And I realized this is not love. I am harming myself. I'm actually causing more problems to myself, not even with all the drugs I was going, but the mind games I was doing over and over in my head, that I wasn't worthy. And I didn't even realize that. And I realized how much love that I had for myself, that I'm a beautiful person. I am I am wonderful with many people, and I have a lot to offer, and I stand confidently because I know who I am, and I know what I want in love and what I don't want.
And Connie, isn't that feeling an enormous load when you realize it all had to do because of you?
Yes, because the anxiety was so bad that I would have panic attacks. I had agoraphobia for a while, just all these crazy things that I never thought I'd experience. And now I realize that fear was what drove me in, because I wasn't in control, because I had let people run things for me. And it was time for me, like as a mother, I did all the things, but when they got older, it was just like, as it was, I just let things be as they were. That's what I thought I deserved. But
And
I realized I didn't. I did deserve a lot more. And I chose that. And my life has been the best, like being off those medications that sedate you or stop your brain from working properly. I thought I had to be on those the rest of my life. Been on them for 20 years, and I'm awesome. And I mean, that's because I took control. I love myself enough to realize that I was letting all these triggers trigger me. Whereas now I will take them, if they do trigger me, and think, okay, why is this triggering me? What is the issue here? And I can usually depict it like right away. And it's just like, breakthrough, because I broke through something that was very difficult in my life and what I've been run to do my whole life. And I have the power of myself. And I just feel that I can love everybody and everything because I know who I am, and I know that's what I'm about. I'm about love. And there's no room for me beating myself up. Sure, I come to points I'm going like, but then I realize, no. And then I giggle because I'm realizing, it got me. And I stopped it before it got way out of hand. And that's wonderful, because then there's no anxiety, no problems, because you're in control, because you know who you are. And that's what it is. I know that I am love, and that I deserve the best from anybody and everybody. Because if I give it out, it's going to come back. And it has 100 times over. So it just shows what a change it's done to me, where people approach me now without even knowing me, and they start talking to me, and it's just like amazing, because I might say a little something and that just brightened their day, and it was just like, that happened on purpose. I was supposed to be there at that time, and they were a stranger. So that shows me that the love is coming out of me, and that's what I expect and deserve, and that's what I expect from other people, is just to love me and to learn to love themselves. That's the biggest thing, because you're your biggest hero. And this team was just absolutely wonderful in encouraging me and helping me understand things. It was just the most amazing experience. And I owe my life to the program, because it made me realize that I'm the one that's important. And my life is completely changed. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, Tracy.
thank you, because like I've said, I'll never take credit for you because it's all you. I just help you get to the best parts of you, and it can only be by you. And that's why you alone are always the number one person in your way, or on both paradoxes. You're either in your way infiltrating, or you're in your way creating. And that is what is so amazing about being what love really is. And the base of why there are 5 keys always that you will be brought in when you're sitting in my chair, if you're in any conversation with me, even if I'm doing life guide with you. And the number one is that you have to be responsible, because the moment you are responsible for every thought, action, deed that you are choosing, whether you believe it or not, it's because of you. The moment you carry that responsibility, you end the victim role. Because the reason so many people stayed and played in the victim role and wanted to blame everybody else, or were so intoxicated through every kind of medication and drug that kept them from the best parts of themselves. And so one of the hardest parts is being responsible, and then being the action of that change, because you can't do it pretending. It has to be that action. And I know one of the hardest things for Connie when she broke through was realizing in these drug induced coma like states of the fact that she realized, and she didn't really know what her children went through in those times. And then you want to go to this place of guilt at first, knowing guilt is, there's not a thing that you can do. The card was laid and card was played, but now that you are who you are now, makes you understand how these awful ideas of what they think is medication for you, or a way to deal with illness, was actually making it worse. And so when you had, and to me that was the most massive breakthrough that I ever saw from you, caring, confident Connie, was the moment you'd realized, oh my God, because you looked inside all of you and then realized, oh my God, because of what I was in the turmoil in, I created that for them. And so do you feel like sharing about what you went through with when you took the responsibility of wearing everything that you didn't even know that you had done for others? How did that work for you with your children?
Well, my big thing is that I was kind of I was in the victim mode, and just I wanted their help because I was on my own and I needed help. And it just drove them away in so many ways. And then I realized that I was doing it all to myself. I was pushing all these people away and basically isolating myself and not realizing I was doing the damage to myself. And when I realized that, it was just like, ding, 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 you silly girl. And I giggled because I realized that all these things I was doing was setting myself up for failure and sabotaging. And getting past that point was the hardest thing for me because I learned so well to fail or to have people expect it. And so I would do so. And I put myself on too high of a pedestal of, I had to be perfect, I had to be this, everything had to be just right, rather than thinking, what do I want to enjoy in this moment? So even when I was training as a hairstylist, whatnot, I found that I just let them, because I was an apprentice, I was the grunt girl where I worked, and I went through some really rough times and I allowed that. Whereas now I would say, wait a minute here, like, I know what the apprenticeships are supposed to be, and I know I'm not your grunt worker. I'm supposed to be learning. And I didn't. I just kept my mouth shut and did all the cleaning duties and whatnot for the longest time before I started hair, because I was too afraid to speak up. I didn't have the power. Whereas now I go somewhere and I have that power. I'm confident because I know my work is good, rather than second guessing myself and thinking I could do better. Because what I do is good, I enjoy it, and I work at it. So why am I sabotaging myself? So that was the point when I saw that all these little things, which was like 10 fingers all pointing back at me instead of pointing out to someone else and blaming, well, they did this, they did this, they did this. And I realized, no, 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 no. This is not affecting them. They're not upset. They're doing what they have to do. I'm the one in turmoil. I'm causing all this anxiety and whatnot. And that's when I came to a point where I thought, this is enough. I deserve better. And I am better. And I just can't believe where I am today. From being in ICU a year ago to being here today and being 83 pounds, now being into 120. I'm a healthy weight. I haven't been that in 15 years. This is the best health I've ever been in. And it's because I didn't know how to get from A to B, whereas your course showed me to invest in myself and to realize that I am of worth. And what I was doing to myself, I was creating my own little nightmare or this little tornadoes in different ways. And now that corkscrew is turned around, everything's calmed waters. And that's when my kids started coming back. My youngest one reached out and had me come to her place and stay overnight for an evening. And my son dropped by. They've been dropping by more. My daughter lives in Stony Plain, my oldest one. We've had very little talk within years, and other than Christmas and birthdays. And now she's calling me constantly. It's just wonderful. But the thing is I'm not talking about being sick and sorry and whatnot. I'm excited about life because it has so much to offer me. Like, I'm not 60 yet. I'm getting up there, but I feel like a 20-year-old inside because I'm just beginning to live because I feel so liberated and free. That was the biggest thing. Was it was just like when I got to that point, it was just like take that backpack with all those rocks off and my shoulders go up, and it was just like, okay, we got this.
And boy, do you. Like, it's amazing. Why I love what I do is because I watch you in the perspective or story that you believe that you're wearing to turn into this unbelievable, and it truly is transformational because it is. And it's like you're cocooned that whole time, whether you're in the chair, whether you're in the course, wherever it is, because you're having to break through inside, and it's metamorphosis. It happens, and that's what those breakthroughs are. And plain and simple, this boils down to, like we said in the last episode, we talked about what is respect. And what is respect to you is a very long-winded and completely different perspective of what you've decided is respectful or disrespectful. And because you were taught that everyone was allowed to disrespect you, because you were taught that it was never ever about you but about everybody else, then you will always only be able to give them an idea of what love is, which is the allowing of disrespect, being a doormat, being all these old broken mind traps, especially female, believing that men are better and you're there to give them these woes and whatever. And we're watching so many women in their 50s and higher now that have been a part of that massive programming, whereas we're helping to teach and create more of a holistic idea of teams, of being an actual team in a relationship instead of a hierarchy or a tyrant or a dictator, which I will always use that as, instead of a leader and guide. Because we know in every relationship, whether it is Connie and my connection on Zoom right now, that there's two different people that are leading the way in this conversation, or what happens is just someone trying to overrule the other. When Connie's story is so important and she leads the way with how her story is and what she has watched, and this is the creation and the foundation of creating a brand new her, and she knows. How often are you back in the course, Connie?
Oh, constantly. I just when I'm feeling that I'm kind of slipping or something, I'm going like, oh, I'm not doing what I should be doing. I get back into them again. And it's quite quickly. Before it would be like a couple days and just like, oh, because I got busy with something with work. And it's just like, no, I have to make time for me every day because I'm the most important. If I keep me well, everything is great because I'm well mentally, physically, and everything because I have my power back. I gave it away to everybody else, but now I took my power back. And that was the hardest thing for me to take, to realize that I could take that was mine, because I've been taught so long that I was in this position and that's where I stayed. I couldn't go anywhere else. Whereas with this, it opened my mind to say, hey, I can free myself in so many ways, physically, mentally, every which way. It's just been an exciting experience ever since, because I just like those, when I'm feeling discouraged or something, go back and I go over those. I'm going like, okay, I need to be in this week. I need to do my work over again, because it changes each time. It changes from the first time you were in the course. And then when you go back and you read it and you're going like, oh, look at all this garbage that came out that didn't come out the first 8 weeks. And it's because I just know that there's something I got to get rid of and I'm having trouble with, and it guides me back into, okay, the flow is going again. I've got my mojo back. I can listen to these and realize that I am in control and in power, and love myself, and not continue to sabotage myself. And that's the one that I do struggle with. It creeps up once in a while. It's just like, no, no, no. Stay down there, little puppy. Because no,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Congratulations. This is massive because she's not worthless. She knows it's her birthright to be magnificent, and that's the difference. And like I've said, everyone that's been in it, whether you just come and have appointments in the chair or from Zoom, or you are in any courses, I am always here to respond, or in silence, because I will never ever be a guru. I do not believe in gurus whatsoever. You are your greatest guru. You are your superhero. But if you are in a place of stalemate or do not know, you know that it's your responsible action of moving forward, and you asking for help is a superpower, because they try to completely inside out turn it upside down and backwards of what really is love, because we're here to support and build each other up, not tear each other down. And, there's been many times Connie out of nowhere will just say, can you tell me where to go? And so intuitively, I'll just feel in her, because of being an intuitive guide, and be able to know, go to week 3, and then it'll be up to her out of one of those videos that is going to have the law of luminosity that speaks out to her, and she's going to go in it. And every time I will have every one of my clients continually say, oh my God, whether they just went in and went into the law of luminosity and went, oh my God, I'm being drawn to week 6 and video 2. And it's because you are in connection within yourself, and it's telling you, because it knows exactly where you need to be with what you've been creating. And so it takes you in, and every time on every one of our life calls, everyone will say, oh my God, yeah, I was guided here, and that's exactly what I needed. And that's you loving you on purpose.
yes.
And so we only have a few minutes left. Is there anything, Connie, that you would like to say to support and build everybody up listening today?
Believe in yourself. And even if you don't, take the chance, because it'll be life changing to get power back and to have that peace of mind in your heart, and to go forward dealing with so much more. I don't know to say other than the love that I felt for myself and from the group, and in the encouragement I had, was exactly what I needed, because I didn't know to go from A to B. Like I said, if it wasn't for the program or your course, I never would have known where to go. And I'd been searching all this time, whereas religions was not my cup of tea because it just felt wrong because it was religion. It wasn't individual. And this way I have a personal relationship as an individual, and I know where my source of my power is. So all I can do to encourage people is take a chance on yourself. You're so worth it.
Thank you.
Take this moment today and touch that button and get into the course, because it will be life changing, and you'll never ever regret it, because it's the best thing I've ever done.
Because of you. So this is episode 18. I hope this gives you more of an understanding on what we do here at Opening Doors Productions. And again, 780-446-1687 is my number for Opening Doors Productions. Opening Doors Productions doesn't subscribe to text message because I adhere to confidentiality, and so I need to hear your voice. And so if you're wanting to know more or book an appointment or just a session to have more of an assessment, any of that, please do give me a call. Or you can leave me a message through email at support@livingwholeonpurpose.com. And check out livingwholeonpurpose.com if that's where you're wanting to go further from there, or openingdoorsproductions.com to go in and for yourself do some research and sit in how it feels for you if you're ready to move forward. The greatest words I have to say to you today that I would love for you to sit in is, why are you so scared to love yourself so wholly? And because of that, can you sit in why you've never given yourself permission? So I love you. Thank you very much, Connie. I love you all. Thank you all for being a part of this and being guided to whatever words you've heard and wanted to sit in today. We will see you next time.